At my son's kindergarten graduation, my SIL whispered, "He deserves better than growing up in a rented life." I smiled. The next day, I put a down payment on a duplex in my son's name. When she asked for help with her teen's tuition a year later, I offered a loan at 14% interest. She said I was cruel. I said, "I'm building a legacy. You're building excuses." I've always kept to myself. I work hard, I stay in my lane, and I don't ask anyone for much, especially not my brother or his wife. My name's Daniel, and I live in Mesa, Arizona. I'm a single dad to my son, Evan. His mom left when he was just 4 months old. One morning she was there, the next she was gone. No warning, no note, just a cold crib and a text that said she wasn't cut out for motherhood. I was 27 then, scared, broke, alone. But I didn't have time to fall apart. I had Evan. I learned quick how to make a bottle with one hand and change diapers half asleep. I took on every overtime shift I could get in the HVAC company I worked for. I kept my head down and did what I had to do. Evan never went hungry, never felt alone, never missed a hug. We live in a rented 2-bedroom house. It's not huge and it's not in the fancy part of town, but it's ours. I've always kept things simple. No big vacations, no luxury cars. I drive a 10-year-old truck with peeling paint and a cracked dash. It runs fine. That's enough for me. My older brother, Aaron, married a woman named Jess. She's the kind of person who talks like she's being filmed. Always on, always loud, always dressed up, even if she's just going to the store. Her Instagram is filled with pictures of sunsets, overpriced salads, and fake laughter. Jess and I never saw eye to eye. She calls me blue collar, like it's an insult. I know she looks at my life and sees failure. I used to ignore her, let her little jabs slide off. I figured it wasn't worth the fight. But something happened last spring that changed everything. Evan was graduating from kindergarten. His school put together a little ceremony in the gym. Nothing fancy, paper hats, hand-drawn diplomas, and a bunch of nervous little kids singing songs. I'd taken the afternoon off work. I brought balloons and baked his favorite chocolate chip cookies. He lit up when he saw me in the crowd. Jess showed up, too, with Aaron and their kids. They were dressed like they were going to a wedding. Her youngest was wearing a tiny blazer. She made a big show of clapping and taking photos like she was the director of a movie. I stayed in the front row just watching Evan. After the ceremony, she walked over while Evan was busy talking to his teacher. She leaned in close, lowered her sunglasses, and whispered, "He's such a sweet boy. He deserves better than growing up in a rented life." Then she gave me that fake smile. The one where her lips move but her eyes don't. And she walked away. I didn't say a word. Not then. But I'll never forget the way her words hit me. Like she'd taken everything I'd worked for and crushed it in one sentence. I don't think she even realized how deep it cut. To her, it was just another throwaway line. A dig. Something to feel superior. That night I sat on my porch after Evan went to bed. I looked around at the house I'd worked so hard to keep. I thought about every overtime shift, every missed meal, every toy I fixed instead of replacing. I thought about how proud I was when Evan called it our house. Not rented. Not owned. Ours. The next morning, I called a real estate agent. I'd been saving for a while. Not much, but enough for a down payment. I wasn't planning to buy yet. Not with the way prices had been jumping. But her words pushed me. I wasn't going to let my son grow up thinking less of his life because of her. 3 months later, I signed papers on a duplex. Nothing big. 2 units, both 2-bedroom, 1 bath. One side for us, one side rented out. It wasn't brand new, but it was solid. I fixed what needed fixing. Painted the walls. Put Evan's name on the mailbox. But here's the part one didn't tell anyone. I put the deed in a living trust. For Evan. The day he turns 25, it's his. Free and clear. No matter what happens to me. I didn't tell my family. I didn't need applause. I didn't want them knowing until it mattered. That day came a year later. Jess's oldest son, Ryan, got accepted into a private college in Boston. Tuition was steep and their financial planning had been, well, Instagram-based. Apparently, sponsored content doesn't cover Ivy League costs. My brother called first. Said they were exploring options and since I seemed to be doing well, maybe I could help. I said I'd think about it. The next day, Jess showed up at my door with a fake smile and 2 lattes. She said the bank's terms were awful and they didn't want to take out a second mortgage. Family helps family, she said, all sweet and fake. I went to the kitchen and came back with a folder. Inside was a loan agreement I typed up myself. $10,000, 1 year, 14% interest, monthly payments required, late fees applied. Legal names. No shortcuts. She looked at me like I'd pulled a gun on her. Are you kidding me? She said. 14%? That's predatory. I didn't flinch. It's business. You said I'm doing well, right? This is why. She looked like she was going to explode. You're cruel, she snapped. This isn't what family does. I looked her in the eyes and said it calm and clear. I'm building a legacy. You're building excuses. She stormed out without taking the coffee she brought. Since then, things have changed. She had to take out a private loan, worse terms than mine. My brother's been picking up contract work just to keep up. Their perfect life's been cracked open and I can see the pieces falling out. Meanwhile, Evan and I are settled. He has a backyard now. A room with posters on the wall. He asks questions about the house, about money, about why I fix things myself. And I tell him the truth, hard work makes things real. Fancy doesn't mean stable. I haven't said anything to Jess since that day. I haven't had to. Every time she drives past our place, she sees the yard Evan plays in. The for rent sign gone. The fresh paint. And I know she remembers what she said. I made sure she'd never forget it. Things stayed quiet for a while after the loan offer. Jess didn't speak to me. Neither did Aaron, really. He sent a few half-hearted texts about how we're all stressed and maybe we should talk, but I didn't reply. I had nothing to say. I'd already said it with the paperwork I handed his wife. Evan started first grade. We painted his room blue. He wanted a galaxy on the ceiling, so we spent 2 Saturdays gluing glow-in-the-dark stars to it. I watched him fall asleep every night under those fake constellations and felt something settle in me. Pride. Peace. Then, 3 months later, my phone buzzed. It was my brother. Can we meet? He said. Just us. I agreed, mostly out of curiosity. We met at a diner halfway between our houses. He looked tired. Older than he should for 39. He didn't even order food, just coffee. He said Ryan dropped out. Apparently, college wasn't what he thought it'd be. Said he felt out of place. The pressure, the distance, all of it. He lasted 2 months before packing up and coming home. Jess was furious. Called it wasted energy. Aaron said they were fighting a lot. Money was tight. They'd maxed out 2 credit cards and now they were trying to sell their second car. I shouldn't have let Jess talk me into that lifestyle, he said. But I wanted her to be happy. I nodded. I understood more than I wanted to admit. I tried to make someone happy once, too. She left me with a baby and a stack of bills. Then Aaron leaned in. Jess doesn't know I'm asking. But do you think maybe Evan could help Ryan get back on his feet? I blinked. What the hell does that mean? I asked. He shifted. Looked down at his cup. You put that property in a trust for Evan. I'm not saying sell it or anything. But maybe refinance? Use some of the equity? We'd pay you back. Eventually. I sat back and let that sink in. He wasn't asking me to help. He was asking my son, a 6-year-old, to give up part of his future because their son couldn't stick it out in school. Because his mom couldn't live within her means. Because they had lived louder than they could afford. No, I said. He looked up. Dan, come on. He's 6. He won't even know. I leaned forward. My voice was calm, but every word hit like a hammer. Exactly. He's 6. And I'm going to make sure when he's 26, he knows I never let anyone take from him. Especially not family. Aaron didn't say anything. Just sat there, staring at his coffee. I got up, dropped a 20 on the table, and left. A week later, Jess posted a quote on Instagram. The people you help the most will hurt you the fastest. No tags. But I knew. It didn't stop there. 3 weeks later, I came home from work and saw a notice folded under my door. It was from the city. A complaint had been filed against my property. Someone reported illegal construction work being done without permits. Someone claimed I was running a business out of a residential zone. Total lies. I hadn't touched the place in months. Only changes I'd made were basic maintenance, paint, a new fence, a window replaced after a storm. All legal. But the city still had to investigate. I filed a response, met with a zoning officer, showed all my receipts. They cleared me, but it dragged out for 6 weeks. Cost me almost $1,000 in fees and paperwork. Stress I didn't need. I didn't need a private investigator to tell me where the complaint came from. Jess had a cousin who worked in real estate. She knew the game. That was the final straw. I didn't confront her. I didn't call Aaron. I let them hang themselves with their own rope. Instead, I sat Evan down one night. I showed him pictures of the house, the rental unit, the bank statements, the mortgage breakdown. This is yours one day, I said. But people might try to take it. They might smile to your face and still want what you have. You need to remember who built this with you. Who protected it. He nodded. He was young, but he understood more than most adults I knew. I started keeping a log. Every little thing Jess did that could be seen as harassment. Every text. Every time she showed up at events and made passive-aggressive remarks. I kept it all. Because I knew something bigger was coming. And it did. 2 months ago, Aaron called again. This time, his voice was panicked. I think Jess opened a credit line in your name, he said. When Aaron told me Jess might have opened a credit line in my name, I didn't react the way he expected. I didn't yell. I didn't curse. I didn't even speak for a full 10 seconds. I just sat there in my truck, gripping the steering wheel, breathing through the heat rising in my chest. He kept talking, filling the silence. I wasn't sure until I saw a statement with your name on it. It came to the house. Jess swears it was a mistake. She says she used your info to apply for something online but didn't go through with it. Aaron, I said finally, she stole my identity. She said she didn't submit it. I don't care what she said. If my name's on something I didn't authorize, that's a felony. There was a pause on his end. Dan, please. Don't press charges. Let me talk to her. Let me fix it. I'm not giving you time to fix anything, I said, my voice low. I'm giving you time to prepare. Click. I hung up and drove straight to my bank. Luckily, she hadn't gotten far. There was a pending card application under my name at a national chain. I froze everything. Locked my credit. Filed a police report. The officer at the station told me what I already knew. This wasn't accidental. It was targeted. Intentional. And stupid. Jess had pulled my credit info from when I helped Aaron apply for a refinance 2 years ago, back when things were still civil. I'd given him some documents, bank info, employment verification, so he could use me as a reference. I never thought twice about it. She'd kept them. I called a lawyer. Got paperwork started for a restraining order. Not just against Jess, but tied to my son's trust. If anyone besides me tries to access or claim interest in it, especially a family member, it triggers legal review. I wasn't taking chances anymore. That was 2 months ago. Since then, I haven't seen Jess. She's gone dark on social media. Deleted her Instagram, which was shocking in itself. My brother's been distant, but I can tell the weight of what she did is breaking him down piece by piece. He's not a bad guy, just weak. Always has been. Evan's been asking questions lately. He's noticed we don't see his cousins anymore. He asked me why Aunt Jess doesn't visit. I told him the truth. I didn't sugarcoat it. Some people, I said, don't know how to respect what belongs to others. You can still be kind, but you have to protect what's yours. He nodded slowly, like he was trying to hold that thought in his tiny chest. And then, just when I thought it was over, I got a letter. It was from a lawyer. Not mine, Jess's. She was threatening to sue me for intentional emotional distress. Said I humiliated her in front of family. That my refusal to loan her money put her son's education at risk. She wanted $25,000 in damages. I laughed when I first read it. Laughed so hard I had to sit down. Then I passed it to my lawyer. He didn't laugh. She's got no case, he said. But she's trying to drain you. Run you in circles. It's harassment. So now we're going to court. And here's the twist I didn't expect. Aaron is testifying. For me. He called me 3 nights ago. Said he's done. Said Jess lost it. She's been obsessed with proving she's right. Even if it means burning everything down. I tried to protect her, he said. But I can't protect someone who keeps setting fires. I told him I appreciated it. But deep down, I didn't feel relieved. I felt angry. Not because of the court stuff. I'll handle that. My lawyer's sharp. I've kept records. I'm clean. No. I was angry because my son had to live through this. Because a woman who saw herself as superior was willing to sabotage a child's future to feed her pride. Because my brother let it get this far. And because even now, Jess doesn't regret what she did. She regrets getting caught. The court hearing was scheduled for a Thursday morning in downtown Phoenix. I took the whole day off work, dressed in the same suit I wore to my cousin's funeral. It was a little tight now, but I didn't care. I wanted to look serious. Not angry. Just solid. Evan was at school. I didn't want him anywhere near the courthouse. My lawyer met me outside. He looked calm. Confident. He'd been dealing with this kind of petty lawsuit for years. Told me Jess's claim didn't stand a chance. But this wasn't about winning. Not for her. She wanted to drag my name through the dirt, hoping I'd cave. Hoping I'd write a check to make her go away. I didn't. She showed up late, flustered, and wearing black like she was attending her own funeral. Aaron walked in behind her, his tie crooked, his eyes down. He didn't even sit with her. He took a seat behind me. When the judge asked her lawyer to explain the basis of the lawsuit, he stood up and said, "My client has suffered long-term emotional trauma caused by the defendant's financial manipulation, cruelty, and targeted humiliation." I almost laughed again, but I didn't. Then it was my lawyer's turn. He stood and calmly laid it out. "We have proof that my client offered a legal, written loan. The plaintiff refused. We have proof she later attempted to open a credit line in his name. We have a police report. A fraud alert from the bank. Witness statements. And we have character statements from family members, including the plaintiff's own husband." That got Jess's head to snap sideways. She didn't know Aaron had flipped. The judge was quiet for a moment. Then he looked straight at her and asked, "Did you use the defendant's information without his permission?" Jess paused. "My client declines to answer due to the risk of self-incrimination," her lawyer said. That was it. The judge dismissed the case on the spot. But he didn't stop there. He looked at Jess and said, "If I were the defendant, I'd be filing countercharges." I already had. 2 weeks later, Jess was served papers. Identity fraud. Civil harassment. Defamation. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about setting a boundary. That lawsuit went public. Not in a huge viral way, but big enough that her momfluencer sponsors dropped her. The wellness company she partnered with cut ties. No more gifted handbags. No more affiliate codes. Aaron filed for divorce. He told me it wasn't just about what she did to me. It was about how she treated everyone. Their kids. Their finances. Him. She built her world on lies, he said. And when it cracked, she blamed everyone else. They sold the Scottsdale house. Court ordered her to pay a settlement. She tried to appeal, but with no lawyer, no job, and no credibility left, she was stuck. The best part? The court approved a lien against her share of the house sale. Most of the money went to legal fees and the settlement I filed. I didn't even cash the check. I deposited it directly into Evan's trust. That money she tried to steal is his now. Evan turned 7 last month. We had a small party in the backyard. Some of his classmates came. We grilled hot dogs, set up a sprinkler, and let them run wild. It wasn't Instagram perfect. No catered food, no matching outfits. Just joy. When he went to bed that night, I sat alone on the porch. I thought about everything. The whispers. The insults. The lawsuit. The lies. And I thought about the long game. Jess wanted to make me feel small. She didn't just fail. She helped build the very legacy she mocked. I didn't need revenge that looked like fireworks. I just needed one quiet win after another. Now Evan has a home. He has security. He has protection built on my sweat and her spite. Funny how life works. Sometimes the people who try to tear you down are the same ones who help you rise just by pushing too hard. I'm not proud of everything I said. I let anger guide me at times. Maybe I should have walked away sooner. Maybe I should have ignored her completely. But I didn't. And I don't regret it. Because she was right about one thing, even if she said it with venom. My son does deserve better. And now? He has it.